Let us go to Luke chapter 19 and verse 4. So he ran ahead and climbed the sycamore tree to see him, because he was going to pass that way. You may be seated. Father God, we do thank you for this day. Thank you, God, for the name of Jesus, Father God.
Yes.
God, let that name, minds are clear, hearts are healed. Let the name of Jesus, Father God, break, come, deliverance come, Father God. At the name of Jesus, we know you're a doctor. At the name of Jesus, we know you paid the price, Father God, that we could not pay on our own. So God, we thank you for your son, Jesus.
Yes.
For without him, Father God, what we're doing would have no purpose. So God, we do thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Just a few minutes, I would like to talk about the availability of a tree.
All right. All right.
When I was in seminary, one of the commanders told me, actually, Lieutenant Commander, he said, John, you have a rare ability. He says, you have what I would like to call homiletic companions. He says, you can see God working in everything. And so today we won't look at Zacchaeus so much, but we'll look at the tree.
All right. All right now.
Many of us know the story of Zacchaeus. We had this divine encounter with Jesus, which ended with Jesus coming to the house of Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus teaches us that if you have a sincere desire to see Jesus, Jesus has a desire to see you. It's good to know that no matter where you are, Jesus sees us.
Yeah.
Jesus wants us to know that he can meet us where we're at and turn us around right at the very spot. We don't have to try to work it out on our own. But he will meet us no matter what our conditions is. It does not have to be in the church. As a matter of fact, he met the woman at the well. She was not in the church. But what got my attention this morning is this sycamore tree, because there is no way Jesus and Zacchaeus would have ever met if it had not been for this tree. This sycamore tree was the means to allow them to connect with one another. The fact that the sycamore tree was available and in range, we see this divine connection taking place. This tree teaches us some valuable lessons. Number one, that there is power in availability. Sometimes just being available gives us the opportunity to honor and glorify God. Just the fact you put yourself in a position to be available, God can use you. Many times we miss our opportunities to glorify, magnify, and work for God because we don't put ourselves in a position to be used by God. We don't make ourselves available to God. And so God says, you know what, I can use you if you make yourself available. But secondly, a life that's consistent. We have to be available and we have to have a consistent life. I realize it's not about how gifted you are. Because if you're gifted and inconsistent, what use are you to the kingdom of God? If people can't count on you to be where you say you're going to be at a certain time, on time, what good are you? When I can't count on you. When God can't count on you. When you know you have what's needed. But it doesn't bother you not to show up at your appointed place at the appointed time. Consistency is very important. So my desire today is that we all have the availability like the tree and the consistency of the tree. The tree did not get the salvation, but it was a conduit to help somebody else get the salvation. That's powerful. The tree gained nothing from this divine connection, but it helped somebody else to get what they needed. How many of us find ourselves successful in leading somebody else to see Jesus Christ? This mic is working because I hear it in the speaker. How many of us can say we're successful in leading somebody else to Jesus Christ, making ourselves available to lead somebody else to Jesus Christ? If somebody sees me and connect with me, and after connecting with me, will they see Jesus? If so, then I've done my job. Many times we've made salvation about us and us getting what we want, the way we want it. It's all about creatures conference, but it's more to salvation than you get your breakthrough and you get your blessing. You see, the greatest testimony of this sycamore tree is that when Lazarus came to connect with it, it allowed Lazarus to go higher so that he could see Jesus. If the sycamore tree wouldn't have been there, Lazarus would not have been able to reach the plateau that he reached in order to make a connection with Jesus. So this sycamore tree was available to be used by somebody else to take it higher to see who they needed to see. Maybe that's a clarity call for the Universal Church that as we examine this particular tree, it ought to push us to want to be available. It ought to push us to want to elevate somebody else besides us. I mean, after you leave church, is anybody blessed because you came to church? This sycamore tree is mentioned several times in the Old Testament, but it's only mentioned once in the New Testament. Luke talked about other trees and trees that bear fruit, but the sycamore tree is only mentioned once, and we're going to look at a few things. Number one, you have to be planted. Right there in verse number 4, it says, he ran ahead and climbed the sycamore tree. Sycamore trees can grow anywhere from 75 to 100 feet. Their length can be just as wide as their height. Their trunk can be as much as 10 feet in diameter. But if the sycamore tree could grab the mic and testify today, I believe these are some things it would tell us. The sycamore tree would say, be careful how you judge me now. Because what you see now is not the way I started out. The sycamore tree would say, yeah, I'm 75 to 100 feet tall now, but I didn't start out that way. The sycamore tree say, I started out as a seed. And it took a process for me to get to where I'm at. See, just because somebody ain't looking like they should look the way you think they are, because they are not as tall as you, they are not as grown out as you, they are not as wide as you, just remember they could still be going through their process. This sycamore tree say, yeah, I look good now, I'm strong now, I'm available now, but I didn't start out like that. The sycamore tree said there was a process for me to get to where I'm at. Anybody ever had to go through some processes in life? Anybody can say that where I am right now ain't always been where I'm at? You know what? The call I realize we all develop and grow at different levels. I don't expect you to look like me, to act like me, to smell like me, to talk like me, to know all the books like I know. I understand that you grow at your rate, you grow at your rate, and I grow at my rate. But my thing is, I'm available to help you. That's what the testimony of a child of God is good about now. About where you at now, about what you look like, but am I available to help you get to where God wants you to be? You see, this tree started out as a seed. And the seed is nothing but potential. So when we see one another, we ought to see potential. We are more concerned now about the initials in front of the name. I'm more worried about what people say after my name. Y'all think about that one. This sycamore tree says, yeah, I didn't start out above ground. Actually, I started out in the ground. He says, in order for me to get to where I got, I had to be in the ground. And he says, being in the ground means I had some dirt on it. God put me in a hole. He put me in a dark place. He put some dirt on me. I know we all city folks in here, we don't get in the dirt. But when I grew up down south, I was always barefooted running around in the dirt. Playing in dirt, eating dirt. Y'all don't know nothing about that, but this tree says my beginning was in dirt. stuff. Anybody in here know you where you at simply because you've been in some dirty places? If it wasn't for the dirt, I wouldn't be who I am right now. If it wasn't for the dirt, I would have never met my Lord and Savior. And all of the dirt, he proved to me that even though I was in some dirty places, said some dirty things, went to some dirty, he says, God said, I can still use you because you've been dirty. I love this tree because tree says I wouldn't be as strong, my branches wouldn't be as wide if I hadn't went through the process. Because of the dirt, it made me grow to the height that I'm in. It made my branches be as wide as they are. He says, I needed the dirt to develop it. He said, if it had not been for the dirt, my roots would have never developed. Yeah, I would have looked good on the outside. I would have had my hat on. I would have had my white on the first Sunday and black on the fourth Sunday. I would have looked good, but every time the wind blew, I would have blew over. Because my roots would have never developed if I would have never been in it. Okay, I'm just talking about, no, I can take the halo off now. I ain't always been what I am right now. And if you catch me on the wrong day, I have a potential. I thank God for the dirt because he grew me in the dirt. He allowed my roots to mature in the dirt. And so now that I'm above ground, any and every little thing just don't get to me. I don't stay up all night walking the floor because of what somebody said or didn't say to me. Because I've grown to a point in life beneath the ground so that when stuff come at me that I don't like, I can stand strong and look trouble in the face and keep on going because what Satan brings to me can't get to me. Fire can't burn me. Water can't drown me. Ice can't freeze me. Anybody know what I'm talking about? When you grow in Jesus Christ, a whole lot of this stuff that we allow to get to us won't get to us. Why? Because we got some big roots. Anybody in the house been rooted in Jesus Christ? Anybody been pushed down in the church? So now stuff that come at you, it may cause you to bend, but you don't break. Some of y'all don't know what I'm talking about. But I just thank God for the dirty stuff that was in my past. The dirty stuff in my past caused me to be where I'm at right now. The best thing that ever happened to me is going through some dirty situations. See, I don't know about you, but I can shout about that because now that I have to deal with dirty folks, and I have to deal with dirty situations, I thank God because the dirt got me to where I'm at right now. Anybody know if it had not been for the dirt, you would be looking like you look today. If it had not been for the dirt, you couldn't stand to go through what you've been going through in life. The only reason why I've been here over 50 years is because of the dirt. So I know what it means to be dirty, but I thank God he used the dirt to develop and grow me to get the very best out of me. It was nothing but the dirt that got me where I'm at right now. But one day, I had to have the right supervision. This tree says it has the right supervision. Somebody had to know the potential of the seed.
Yes, sir.
Even though it was still in the dirt, it took somebody to cover the seed with dirt for it to grow during this proper season. Some of you made it because of yourself. I know, I hear you talk. I hear you say what you did to get you where you at. I hear you talk about how you knew the right folks in HR. I hear you talk about it was your education that got you there. But I didn't get to where I'm at because of me. I got to where I'm at because of somebody started everything. Somebody took the time to water me and help me nurture and mature to get to where I'm at right now. I know you all pull the right strings. You wonderful. You all that. You're balling in the shop. I know you know how to do all that. I live in the parking lot and see what you're driving, so I know you all that. I ain't trying to take that away from you, but for the rest of us, the only reason why we survived is because we had a God who supervised us. You made it on your own, but I had a God who took care of me to make sure he put the right amount of water on me, to make sure sycamore trees back in the day was only planted, they only grew outside of the city. They grew outside of the city of Jericho and Canaan because God created this tree that it had so much potential it would overtake a city. And so they would put sycamore trees in the lowlands. Sycamore trees couldn't survive on the mountaintop. Sycamore trees did their best work in the valley. So you wouldn't find a sycamore tree growing on the mountain.
All right.
God created the sycamore tree to prosper in the valley. Y'all got where I'm coming from? Some of y'all, they call the shots when you're on the mountaintop. But I'm like the sycamore tree. Even though I'm in the valley, even though you're pushing me in the valley, I'm still going to prosper because it makes no difference where I'm at. Because of the God that I have, the God that's working with me in there. I can be in the mountaintop, I can be on the valley, I can be on the side of the road. What God has for me, it is for me. The sycamore tree say, yeah, I grew up in the valley, but that's why I do my best work. It's in the valley. Yeah, I don't have to be in the city. I can be right here in the Junction and do my very best work. I don't have to be in ATL. I don't have to be in DC. I don't have to be in Georgia. I don't have to be in Florida. I can do my best work right where I'm at. Some of us can only do it when we get to certain statuses. We get certain positions. But God says, are you available to do what He's called you to do right where you're at? You got to learn how to thank God for where you're at. Because when you're thankful for where you're at, things will get better for you than where you want to be. God can make you and I bloom right where we're at. You don't have to wait for you to make the call. He wants you to grow right where you're at. It's right there in the valley where this tree grows. But today, this tree is growing outside of the city because the fruit on this tree was bitter. It wasn't very tasteful. It wasn't very sweet. And so the city people, the ones who could go to the Dillons and how to be, they didn't have nothing to do with the sycamore tree. The sycamore tree was grown outside the city for the common folks, for the folks like me. They grew up with the G&A stamps. They grew up with the stamp. They had a DBT card back around there. They had books of 1, 5, 10, 20. Yeah, you had to pull them out. Y'all don't know about that. The sycamore tree was for folks like me. Folks that couldn't afford to live in the city. Folks who couldn't afford to go to dinner. So they put the sycamore tree outside the city for the common folks. It was the common folks who took the light in the tree. And here's what I'm trying to say. The sycamore tree was happy simply because they had fruit. Everybody ain't gonna like your fruit.
Yes, sir. Say it now.
The sycamore tree knew the city folks wasn't gonna like his fruit. But the sycamore tree had enough sense not to be concerned about who didn't like it. The sycamore tree said, boo-boo, if you don't like me, I like my own self. Because I like my own self, I can eat my own fruit.
That's right. Come on.
Anybody know what I'm talking about? You ain't gonna always be like everybody. Some folks will reject you, but you can't worry about the rejection. The rejection pushes you to where God wants you to be. It's very interesting because Jesus was walking outside the city. Where was the tree?
Outside the city.
Jesus was passing by the place where the tree was. The tree was rejected from being in the city. And isn't it amazing that Jesus go where rejected stuff is? Can I say something? Can I say something? That's why you can't get mad when you've been rejected. Because many times rejection is simply redirection. And just because they don't like your fruit don't mean mean somebody else ain't gonna like it.
Yeah.
You got to realize rejection ain't the end of the story. That's just redirection.
Yes, yes.
Rejection has the ability to push you to higher levels and to divine moments. I've learned to celebrate what I have been rejected from, because what I've been rejected from set me up for a divine encounter with Jesus Christ. So I thank you for walking out of my life. I thank you for walking away from me. I thank you for letting me go. I thank you for not giving me the love. I thank you for not giving me the right. I thank you for not giving me the food, because your rejection caused me to go higher and have a divine appointment with my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. If it had not been for the rejection, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now.
Say it.
Rejection actually was my promotion.
Yes, sir.
Anybody know what it is to be rejected?
Yeah.
Anybody know what it means to be rejected when people don't understand?
Yeah.
When people know more about you than they know of you.
Yeah.
Anybody know what it means when folks reject who you are? And just because you got to realize your appetite don't fit everybody else. We all have different appetites, and because your appetite is one way and mine is a different way. I'm not gonna get upset. You like man, what don't I like? I like carrot cake. I like lemon cake. I like German chocolate cake. Maybe none of that stuff becomes. Maybe none of that stuff fits your appetite. And because it don't fit yours, don't mean it don't fit mine. And because you don't like it, don't mean I don't have to like it. Anybody here know what I'm talking about? That you can be you and still please God. That you ain't got to walk like I walk. You ain't got to dress like I dress. You ain't got to carry your Bible and you in the car. You won't pick it up till the next Sunday you come back. But you can be you and God can still use you. You that you are. Everybody happy with being just who you are. This ain't what we see. I know who I am. I'm happy being who I am. Are you happy being who you are? Can you celebrate God for Him creating you to be the person He created you to be? Then somebody ought to be able to stop right now. Somebody ought to have an amen right now. God, I thank you for who you made me to be. God, I'm only who I am because of your grace and mercy. Can anybody get happy because God took the time to make you to be the person you are? So God, I thank you, everybody don't ask me to lunch. I thank you, God. I really thank everybody don't ask me over for dinner. Yes, sir. God, I thank you they snatched my card. Maybe it can't fit everywhere. This sycamore tree, because of its height and width, it couldn't fit everywhere. If this sycamore tree grew in the city, the branches would have to have been cut and trimmed back in order for it not to take up too much space. And so what it was created to be, if it was going to be totally what it was supposed to be, without being cut on, it had to grow outside of the city. In order for it to fit outside of the city, in order for it to be outside of the city, that allows it to grow to its full potential. See, outside of the city don't have restrictions like they did in the city. In the city, it would have had to been trimmed down. It would have been rejected. But because of the rejection, that created opportunity for it outside of the city to fully be what God had created it to be. I know I can't always be the best for everybody. But I do know that God can place me in certain positions that allow me to reach my very full potential. I may not fit in with your clique, your circle, or your club. But where God places me, He always allows me to grow to my maximum potential. But thirdly and finally, the tree had to be powerful. Because right there in verse number 5, it says, when Jesus came to the place, He looked up and said to him, Zacchaeus, hurry and come down, for I must stay at your house today. Zacchaeus is short. That was somebody short that laughed. He's short. And he's a tax collector. He was hated by everybody in the community. He was not well liked. He's short. And he's a tax collector. He wasn't well liked. He's short. And he's a tax collector. He wasn't well liked. He's short. He's a tax collector. He wasn't well liked. He's short. He's a tax collector. He wasn't well liked. But what I love about Zacchaeus' shortness and him not being well liked, Zacchaeus said, I can be short, I may not be well liked, but I refuse to let you cancel my appointment for my Jesus Christ. He said, I don't have to be well liked. I don't have to be around you. I'm short, I can't see over you, I can't see under you. I'm a tax collector, none of you guys like me, but I ain't going to let you cancel my appointment with my Lord. So Zacchaeus, he said, I got a desire to see Jesus, and because I'm short and I'm unliked, let me do something they won't think to do. Let me run to this tree. He says, if I'm going to see Jesus, I'm going to have to climb the tree. You got to know back in the day, it wasn't popular for men to climb trees. Why this tree, Zacchaeus? Sycamore tree said, Jones, why not me? It says too many times we in the kingdom of God misses our blessing because we are looking for the right tree.
All right.
And still in the tree God has given us.
Yes, sir.
But I love this tree because it made itself available to be a blessing to somebody else who wanted to see God. See, the other trees wasn't stationed in the place where Jesus was walking by. So it was good that Zacchaeus went to the tree that had been rejected by many, whose fruit wasn't the best. But Zacchaeus picked the right tree, because if he would have got the apple tree, if he would have got the orange tree, if he would have got some other tree, he would have missed his divine connection with Jesus Christ. So what Zacchaeus did, he was rejected. The tree was rejected, but God was going by a place of rejected folks to reject Zacchaeus. You ain't got to worry about things being rejected in your life. That just could be the place Jesus Christ is passing by. Zacchaeus went by the tree that had been rejected. That nobody else wanted. And guess what happened? As he's walking by, Jesus is walking by this sycamore tree. What would make Jesus look up?
Oh, my God.
Of all the trees out there, why look up? In the sycamore tree. Here's the thing about the sycamore tree. Sycamore tree had branches and had foliage that could cover Zacchaeus so that he can see down. But if you looked up, you couldn't see him. But Jesus, out the door, eye has the ability to see things we think he can't see. And so when Jesus got to the right spot, he knew to look up because he was going to see a man in the tree. Can I tell you about another tree that came along over 2,000 years ago? Go on, say it. Go to the church over.